What's up, guys? And yes, the title is right. Yes, it is earnings season upon us once again. So let's jump into some of these plays and see what's going on. Alright, if you were able to tune into the stream yesterday, you were able to see the plays that we have for today. And hopefully those plays worked out. I know Moderna went on a crazy little tear after their earnings came out. So hopefully everybody was able to lock in profits. Make sure you check out that community tab for more of the plays that's going on. So let's do a recap of the plays that we had for today and just look at all the things that are going on with the earnings. So first we're going to jump into is Moderna. We went over this one yesterday, but we can see how the stock performed today based on that. Kind of went very bearish. If we look on here, it ran up just a little bit where it reached its peak at 78.47, but then fell all the way down here to 75.80 where it ended the day. Moving average 10 is 75.43. Moving average 50 is 75.83, and moving average 100 is 77.65. So not too bad numbers, but definitely, saw a sell off towards the end of the day. And it actually ended the day when the market closed at 75.61, so that's where it ended at. But let's jump into the earnings and see how the earnings performed. So, jumping into the earnings, we have 2020 second quarter financial results for Moderna. We have the end of the quarter with 3.1 billion in cash equivalents, and investments. Moderna has received approximately 400 million of customer deposits as of July 31st, 2020, for potential for their vaccine. Also, it says Moderna updates 2020 guidance to reflect investments into their vaccine. The company expects net cash and operating activities for purchases of property and equipment to be between 0.65 and 0.85 billion, including benefit of customer deposit received as of July 31st. So, phase 3 study of their vaccine in collaboration with NIH and BARDA on track to be completed in September 2020. So September 2020, definitely a date not on here, but a month to keep in mind, especially considering all the stuff that's going on with all the other companies. So this is not the only company in that niche, but definitely one to keep your eyes on for the future. Positive 12-month interim results after third and final dose of the phase 1 candidate that they had, safety and immunogenicity data for all those cohorts of the phase 1 of their vaccine for this as well. So a lot of good momentum from the stock, a lot of good momentum from the company in general. A lot of money rallied behind them. $400 million is not a small amount of money, especially considering, in the medical field. So they have a lot of capital to work with to go with the company. Now, the thing that I've seen with this company is what really drives, the peak performance, or what drives them going upward, to me, is the updates on their vaccine. So if they said they're going to be completing enrollment in September 2020, they'll probably release an update on how that's going, and then there'll be more updates as time goes on. But I think in the future, I have like a positive feeling about this company. I think they can make a lot of progress and definitely run up with more news coming from them. So if we go here, we see they fell off after the earnings, but I think for the long term, it's definitely going to be a good play in my personal opinion. So jumping into the next one, we got CVS. So CVS had their earnings today as well. If we look, they kind of ran up a little bit. Zoom out on this chart. They ran up a little bit. We can see they had a bullish uptrend The moving average 10 line went above the moving average 50 and 100, but quickly fell back down towards the end of the day. And the moving average 10 line approached the moving average 50 line and the moving average 100 line to show that it was on a very bearish trend towards the end of the day. So bullish beginning of the day, bearish towards the end of the day, and then it kind of leveled off after that. So it's not too bad of a news, but if we look on here on the left hand side, there are a lot of red, which means a lot of people sold off towards the end of the day. So just bear that in mind when looking at the stock. So going uh, on here, we see the moving average 10 is 64.13. Moving average 50 is 64.01, and the moving average 100 is 63.76. So if we look on here, we can see that they ended the day right here at 64.40. So, not too bad. Still above the moving average 50 and moving average 100. So, still a little bit bullish. And, definitely had a run up towards the end of the day. Also, bear in mind, I'm using the 30-minute chart. So, if you want to have a chart like this, I'm using the 30-minute chart. Also, went and added the moving average 10 and moving average 50 and 100 onto my chart, as well as the VWAP 14 line. So, if you want to have that on your chart, I did add those to my chart. And this is the Webull platform. So if you want to download Webull, get 2 free stocks. I have a link for it down below. So check that out. Also, I have a link down below for Robinhood if you want to check that out as well and jump on board. So let's jump into those CVS earnings and see how they performed and how the stock will perform in the future. So this is their earnings. This nice PowerPoint presentation. If we go down here, we can see they have their financial highlights, which is what we are looking for. So second quarter revenue of 65.3 billion, adjusted EPS of $2.64 demonstrate an announcement of our integrated healthcare strategy. So Q2 adjusted EPS growth of 40% year over year, 7.1 billion cash flow from operations. So healthcare benefits adjusted operation income up to 141%, driven by unprecedented MBR of 70% related to deferral and discretionary utilization. 6% revenue growth driven by 20% membership growth in government products. So pharmacy services adjusted operating income at 2% driven by growth in specialty pharmacy and slight gross margin expansion due to improved purchasing economics. So then we have retail slash LTC, 1% year over year growth, adjusted operating income decline 37%, primarily from the pandemic, relating impacts and uh, incremental operating expenses and decreased volume. So, that's expected. That makes sense to me. Basically, the people who were able to come into the store couldn't come to the store anymore. So, that's to be expected from that, in my personal opinion. Impact of the pandemic. Contributed estimated 0.70 to zero point 0.8 for quarter 2 GAAP, diluted and adjusted EPS. PSS 50 million, retail 525 to 575 million, 240 million in incremental pandemic related expenses for employees and customers, an HCB of 1.8 to 2.1 billion. So they lost a lot of money of people not being able to come in to the stores and shop or get their medicine and stuff like that. It says during fiscal year 2020, expected to incur negative 2 billion in pandemic related investments. So, you know, got some ground to make up as far as that, quite a bit. Going to some stuff on here. Cash flow and capital allocations, strong cash generation, commitment to disciplined capital allocation priorities. During the quarter, generated 7.1 billion of cash flow from operations. So basically, just cut back to get more capital, preserve capital. Strong liquidity access to 13 billion, 7 billion of cash and short-term investment. At June 30th, 2020, was held by parent company or non restricted subsidiaries. 6 billion available through commercial paper or borrowing capacity under credit facilities. So they're continuing to prioritize paying down debt and maintaining dividend. So dividends a big thing as far as people who are holding the stock for a long term. Definitely looking for that dividend payment. So good thing on that that they're putting that at the priority list. Can definitely see people holding on to it if that's the case. I know a lot of companies cut their dividend. That was one of the first things they did. But the fact that they are saying they want to keep their dividend and hold on to it is kind of refreshing to hear a company say that, because dividends are how average investors get paid. So that repaid 2.75 billion of scheduled debt principal in July of 2020. No share repurchases planned until leverage target met. Paid 660 million to shareholders in dividends during the quarter. So shareholders are still a priority and a focus um, for the company. So in communities, supporting local communities through different testing capabilities, growing health hub footprint and offerings, 205 locations across 22 states. Health Advisor, new Next Best Action program offering Caremark clients for 2021. Next Generation Diabetes Management programs launched with 2 group Medicare clients, transforming oncology programs, or oncology care programs, seeing increased engagement and expanded to more cancer types. And then for their in-home practices, best in class specialty pharmacy capabilities, 40% increase in provider adoption of specialty expedite versus Q1 of 2020. Uh, Coram Home Infusion conducted 160K home visits year to date, more cost efficient than hospital and urgent care settings. Home delivery of retail prescriptions up 500% versus Q1 year over year and growing. Chronic kidney disease care management expanding, current available to 6 million people across Athena and 14 Caremark customers. So we go on here, the in the hand, expanding virtual care capabilities, total minute clinic virtual care visits. So that's a big thing that started this year. Is the whole um, you know e-clinic thing where you can call in, get diagnosed, or you can call in with your symptoms and you can be treated. That started with the whole Trump administration, and it was basically an answer to the pandemic. Um, Care Pass membership up 30% to 2.8 million versus Q1. So they have a lot of metrics on here that seem to be in the positive, but they do have some that are negative, especially considering how hard their retail division was hit. The retail division was hit pretty hard. Even though it had a 1% year-over-year revenue growth, it still had a large decline. So it's something to keep in mind when um, looking at the stock, and probably one of the reasons why it performed the way it did and went down. So going to the next one that I had on here, which was Wayfair. Definitely expected that one to go up and run like crazy, and it did. But towards the end of the day, it kind of sold off. So let's look at this run up. So the run up on here has been pretty crazy. If you can look on here, it's been on just a crazy bullish trend for you know a little under a month now, leading up to the earnings. And so going to here, we can see they ended the day at 301.40, but then after hours went down some more, went down to 295.60. But their moving average 10 is 299.24. Moving average 50 is $283.72. Moving average 10 is $261.09. So They ended the day, if we're going by this one, they ended the day below their moving average 10, um, but still above the moving average 50 and the moving average 100. So still, bullish in my opinion. But the moving average, but the current price that it ended is definitely at the VWAP 14 line. So it may denote that it's starting to go on a bearish trend. So going into the earnings, let's see how they perform with earnings. So the earnings came out today, and it shows second quarter 2020 financial highlights. Total revenue increased 2.0 billion to 4.3 billion, up 83.7% year over year. So 83.7% for a company to increase is a pretty significant amount of money. U.S. net revenue increased 1.7 billion, up 82.5% year over year. International net revenue increased 310.2 million, up 90.5% year over year. Uh, International segment revenue, constant currency growth was 96.9%. Uh, Gross profit was 1.3 billion, or 30.7% of total revenue. GAAP net income was 273.9 million. Non-GAAP adjusted EBITDA and adjusted EBITDA margin was 439.8 million, or 10.2%, respectively, of total net revenue. GAAP diluted earnings per share was $2.54. Non-GAAP diluted earnings per share was $3.13. Non-GAAP free cash flow was 1.1 billion. Then it says at the end of the second quarter, cash equivalents and short and long-term investments total 2.4 billion. So fantastic financials, in my opinion, from them. Definitely to see a company grow their, total net revenue 83.7% or 84% is impressive of any company, especially considering the pandemic that we were going through. I think this was definitely due to the fact that a lot of remote working was going on, and you can see, the different um, people going to switch to remote work. I think there was a lot of stuff probably bought, like desks and tables and things of that nature to help make home offices that didn't exist before, but are going to be the new workplace or the new work norm for American citizens. So you know definitely see that in the future, and definitely see that as the reason why their profits were up so high year over year. So going into the next one, we got ticker sign FVRR for Fiverr. Fiverr.com. It's just basically a freelancing website. It helps people find jobs um, in the freelancing space. So if you have skills that you have, and people post jobs on there like, hey, I need somebody to type something, or I need somebody to help do my taxes, or any type of job that's out there that you have the skill for, this is basically the website for. So going to uh, look at their background, we can see that they've been on a pretty bullish run. Um, right close to earnings. It shot up quite a bit. It went from 101 all the way to 124. So a pretty high, run up as far as that's concerned. If we look, the moving average 10 line is above the moving average 50 and the moving average 100, which to me denotes that it is on a bullish uptrend. So if we go to the moving average 10 is $121.16. Moving average 50 is $104.61. And the moving average 100 is $96.94. So they end today at $122.87. If we look at after hours performance, they actually went up $1.82 from that. So they are at 124.69. So, pretty positive as far as that's concerned. Um, and, I think they're going to continue to go up. Let's jump to the earnings and see how far up would they go from here. So, Going into the earnings, we can see Fiverr announces second quarter results. Came out today as well. Strong growth. Revenue grew 82% year over year in quarter two 2020, with strong execution across product, marketing, and operations during the global pandemic. So, historical level of new buyers, active buyers grew 28% year over year to 2.8 million, implying new ads of over 300,000 in quarter two versus quarter one 2020. Achieved profitability, achieved quarterly adjusted EBITDA profitability for the first time in Fiverr's history. It's a pretty good milestone that they just hit right there. Targeting adjusted EBITDA profitability for the future quarters in 2020. Promoted gigs expansion, promoted gigs are now available to many more sellers in 15 categories and on both searches and on both search and category pages. Launched two additional non-English websites in Italian and Dutch as we continue to expand into European countries. A dedicated environment for business buyers to transact and collaborate on Fiverr, making a key investment in going up markets. And then provided quarter three 2020 and raised FY20 guidance. Revenue is now expected to grow 66 to 68% for FY20. With expected FY20 adjusted EBITDA profitability. So overall, they definitely benefited from the pandemic situation. They were able to grow their website, and their revenue grew 82% year over year. So fantastic metric for them. Happy that they went up. Definitely very useful website for those people who were going through job loss or going through a financial situation, but have skills that they can yield to the marketplace. I know it probably helped a lot of people, so it's good to see that this stock went up and this company was able to capitalize on what was going on. So going to the next one, we got ticker sign ETSY for Etsy. If we look, they were on a bullish run up since about the 29th. That's where they began their bullish run up, where the moving average 10 line crossed the moving average 50 line and the moving average 100 line. And they just continued to run up on a pretty bullish trend. If we look on here, we can see that the moving average 10 is $134.76. Moving average 50 is $126.22. Moving average 100 is $116.80. Moving average, the VWAP 14 is 134.43, and they ended the day at 135.52. But it looks like after hours they kind of sold off some, so they went down $2.12 to $133.40. So went down a little bit towards the end of the day. They are below their moving average 10, but still above their moving average 50 and the moving average 100. So to me, still denotes a bullish uptrend, but beginning to be bearish because that number crossed the VWAP 14 line. So the volume average, in my opinion, basically crossed the actual price value. So, beginning to start a bearish trend, but was bullish for quite a long time. Going to some background on them and their earnings. It says reports consolidated year over year growth of 146%, revenue growth of 137%. So, that is crazy. So let's go. Our extremely strong second quarter results with consolidating and revenue 146% and 137% respectively are a testament to agility of our team and strength of our brand, the innovation of our sellers, and the unique and special nature of inventory on our core Etsy marketplace. Yeah, so going in here, we can see their revenue definitely increased to 428,737. compared to their 2019 results, which was 181,095. Marketplace revenue grew as well to 332,031 from 135,199. So overall, pretty good metrics as far as that's concerned. I think they will continue to yield profitable for that. I don't know if people were expecting this to be a lot higher than what it was, but I think these are pretty good numbers. Could possibly see a continuation tomorrow. This sell-off wasn't as great as I thought it would be. So I definitely could see a continuation tomorrow of this going back up, but definitely keep my eyes on that. Now, going into another one, we got Square, ticker sign SQ. They actually leaked their earnings pretty early, so it was pretty weird how that happened. But they did, and the market definitely reflected that. So they actually shot up like crazy when that happened. We can see they went from 136.44 all the way up to 158.43. So they shot up about $20, plus or minus $20. When that actually happened, when that was leaked. So earnings are a lot better than people expected. Now they have been bullish, but their moving average 10 line has been very close to the moving average 50 and moving average 100 line on here. So if we look, the moving average 10 line is 149.11. Moving average 50 line is 137.72, and the moving average 100 line is 132.20. So um, to see where they ended the day at. They ended at 146.55, but they went down $1.39 at the end of the day to be at 145.16. So not that far down, but definitely a move downward. They are below their moving average 10 line, but still above the moving average 50 and moving average 100 line. So that's good. We'll see tomorrow how they perform. But let's jump into their earnings. So going into their earnings, go into some highlights on here that they have. So total net revenue of 1.92 billion, 64% growth year over year. Gross profit is 597 million, 28% year over year growth. And net income loss was 11 million. So they lost less money in this quarter than they did in the previous quarter. And going to gross payment volume or GPV, we got 22.8 billion, so 15% year over year. GPV mix by seller size, 52% larger sales. Adjusted EBITDA is 98 million, so 7% year over year. So that's how they performed. I think those are a lot better metrics than people were expecting. So that's good as far as that's concerned. And I definitely see a lot of people using this, because it's linked to a lot of e-commerce stores or places where you can buy things online. So going into the new ones that I have that are going to be on the watch list for tomorrow, we got Wix. If we go on here, Wix is for Wix.com. Moving average, let's see, the moving average 10 is $308.43. Moving average 50 is $299.87. Moving average 100 is $288.42. So overall, pretty high metrics. They ended the day at $309.59. So pretty high, above both of those metrics. So that's good as far as that's concerned. Looks to be on a bullish trend going upward. So that's always good for that. If we go on here, we can see that their VWAP 14 line has definitely been close, very close to their moving average uh, 10 line. So, that's good on that one. If we look, if we just think about what the company is, it's a company where you can make your own website, so I think it was very useful. Definitely something that a lot of people can use in the future, especially as a lot of companies are moving from store based companies to online companies. They're going to have to, make websites, and, Wix is like, one of the easiest places to do that. If we look after hours, they actually moved up $4.41. Probably a movement expecting earnings, so they moved up to 314 even. So, definitely looking for more bullish towards the end of the day tomorrow, and looking for the continuation tomorrow as that going up. Next one we have on here that we're looking for tomorrow is FLIR ticker sign, and that's for Flare Systems. If you're not familiar with that company, they make a lot of infrared and thermal heaters. So, I mean, not heaters, temperature scanners. So, the ones that you'll see people have, like where they hold them up to people's head. That's basically what this company makes. They've been making it for a long time, and they definitely partner with a lot of different people, and definitely saw a large benefit from the pandemic situation. I know their orders probably went up like crazy, especially with people trying to open back up and having, instead of testing, doing a temperature reading of different people. I know a local restaurant here, had the temperature gun where they were able to monitor their employees' temperature, and I just think that other companies like that were probably doing the same thing. So their moving average 10 is $42.80. Moving average 50 is $42.12. Moving average 100 is $41.77. And they ended the day at $42.83. If we look at after hours, they went down a little bit. They only went down 3 cents, so they ended at 42.80. So not too bad of a metric. And they went up. They spiked up. If we see on here, the 43.54. So they have been higher than what they currently are at. Would say they're on a bullish uptrend, but they're starting to level off. If you can see on here, they kind of ran sideways and went down a little bit after this 43.55, 43.54 number that they hit. But we'll see how they perform on earnings and see if that transcends to them going back up. So the next one we have is Uber. Uber looks like it's running up, expecting earnings. Going into their moving average. Moving average 10 is 33.03. Moving average 50 is 31.67, and the moving average 100 is 31.19. So they ended the day at $33.20. Looks like after hours they went up to 36 cents more to $33.56. So not that bad of a metric. If we go in a little bit here, we can see that they kind of went sideways a little bit towards the end of the day. It's a 30-minute chart. So, yeah, they kind of went sideways towards the end of the day. But on the left-hand side here, we can see that there were a lot of calls. I mean, not a lot of calls, a lot of buys towards the end of the day. And we can also see denoted by this volume green right here that a lot of people bought in towards the end of the day, probably expecting good earnings from the company. Now, if you don't know, Uber is a a rideshare company. They also have Uber Eats. So a lot of during the pandemic, where people were ordering food, Uber Eats was one of the companies, and DoorDash was the other main company that I'm familiar with that were bringing people food during the pandemic. So they definitely benefited from the pandemic. But I know a lot of the workers, were kind of burned out on. Um, actually, trying to go out and work, and especially, considering a lot of people stopped doing the whole riding thing. So, I know there have been talks of possibly having a union for Uber drivers, and, seeing if they can benefit from the stimulus or get, some sort of, payout from that, because they were also affected by, people not coming. But I don't know what the result of that was. Definitely something interesting to look into for the future. But as for earnings are concerned, I think their earnings is going to be pretty good. I don't know if they'll stand up from their previous quarter, because I know the previous quarter a lot of people were more locked down than they are now. So it may be a decline of their earnings, and I'm expecting them to go down. Even though they went up on here, I'm expecting them to go down. But who knows? We'll see how they perform tomorrow. Last one on here. And the last one for this stream, we're going to go into TMUS, and that's for T-Mobile. If you're familiar with T-Mobile's cellular service, they recently had a merger with Sprint, so all the Sprint plans are basically T-Mobile now. And If we look on here, they had a run up. People probably expected earnings, but that run up kind of went sideways. So if you had an iron condor on this, you definitely have lucked out and benefited from this. But if you had just a naked call on here, you could have benefited from that as well. But as earnings comes out, I'm definitely expecting this to go down quite a bit. I do not think the earnings are going to be that good. It might be, it might surprise me. I have been proven wrong before, but I'm just expecting that it to go down. I don't think that the merger with Sprint, you know, is that good of a merger. Um, anyway, going to the moving average 10 is 107.78. Moving average 50 is 107.36, and the moving average 10 is 106.40. So if we look at here where they ended at 107.90, and it looks like it went up after hours about 60 cents. So they're at 108.50. So they're above their moving average 10 line, moving average 50, and moving average 100 line, which is good that they ended that high. But we'll see how they perform with earnings. T-Mobile has been around for a while. Good service overall. In the cities. On the outskirts, it's kind of spotty. Verizon is a little bit better for the outskirt areas, but you really only have like three big carriers at the current moment. You got AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon. So you have little bitty offshoots of those. We could say like you got Cricket, uh, Boost Mobile, um, Straight Talk. Um, I don't think anybody uses Virgin anymore for cellular service, but those are the three big main ones. Uh, so they're definitely a direct competitor by merging with Sprint. But as for the future of them, I think it's up in the air. I think they have a lot of room, uh, to work with, but I think they're going to have to add a little more to the table as far as reliability is concerned, and as far as features for the users. We'll see. I don't know how they're tackling the 5G problem, or if they have plans for 5G. I know Apple is waiting to announce their 5G phones. Hopefully that'll be in October sometime, or hopefully as early as the end of September. I know a lot of things are going on in September. You got Battery Day by Tesla, which is going to be in September. Um, let's look at Tesla, see how they perform today. Add them to the watch list. So Tesla's red today. If we look at their chart, their moving average 10 is $1,484.96. Moving average 50 is $1,475.98. Moving average 100 is $1,489.10. And today at $1,485.02. It looks like they went down $3.99 after hours to $1,481.03. So, going down a little bit after hours, but if we could see on here, it's very spotty on the reaction from there. It's buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. Seems to be mixed feelings on how it's going to perform. But one thing's for certain: Battery Day is definitely going to be a very important day for the stock. Also, S&P 500 inclusion is going to be very important. Two events that I definitely think will make this stock shoot up. I definitely don't think that Battery Day, and the S&P 500 inclusion are, you know, underrated. I guess not underrated. Are underrated facts because you know they're definitely not priced in. I see you on here. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the kind words. Thank you. But Definitely for the S&P 500 inclusion and for the inclusion in the S&P 500. I definitely think that they're going to be pretty big milestones for the company, and definitely going to see them run up. Now, S&P 500 inclusion, there's going to be a lot of people who, um, say, Tesla already has this stuff priced in, but I really do not think that they have it priced in. Um, if we look, scroll out some on the chart. If we look, they've had spikes before where they spiked all the way up to $1,689, and they even spiked even higher than that, going back $1,794.99. But they definitely do not have this priced in. So if we look at this value, once the S&P 500 inclusion happens, you got to realize that all the funds that track the S&P 500, like the famous SPY fund that people follow, they're all going to be affected by this move. So it's not going to be just a move of the company just being put in. It has to be put in, and other companies have to be taken out because it is the S&P 500. So definitely going to be a major move when that happens. And you got to think of, people are going to be selling off stocks just so that they can put money into Tesla. So it's going to be a bunch of money flooding into Tesla when that happens. And also Battery Day, them being the leader in EV, which is electric vehicles, moving that into the future, them being, you know, the leader of that and innovating how electric vehicles operate, they're definitely going to be setting a benchmark standard for how EVs are going to be run into the future. So, with that being said, I think they definitely have a lot to prove, but I think all this stuff is not priced in. There's no way you could price in all this stuff because people are still looking at them as just a car company in the financial community when they're much more than a car company. They're an electric company. If we compare them to um, the other company that people were talking about, which is Nikola Motors, um, which a lot of people have heartburn about. Um, if we look at Nikola Motors, yes, they just currently IPO'd, but their stock is all over the place. And they're like the kings of outsourcing. So if you look at the fall from them, when they first IPO'd, they ran up to $76.30. But then, since then, it's just been a fall off from there. Now, Nikola Motors, I'm not saying he's a bad company, but definitely, very speculative because there are a lot of things that they're trying to outsource and not do themselves. But I think what the consumer really wants is just to have a product that they can see and Trevor Milton, the CEO himself, even said that they only built the Badger just to get people to buy shares on Robinhood. So not really a good look when you have a company and the CEO who said he just wants to get people to buy shares on Robinhood, which are basically millennials who use Robinhood, but for a CEO to say that, or a former CEO, I think he stepped down. Now he's like one of the chairmen. And just the overall technology that they're using just doesn't seem like it's going to be, up to par with Tesla's. So I think what might end up happening for Nikola in the future is that, they'll build their cars, they'll build their trucks, they'll build their Badger, and people will see it. I think the stock will probably shoot up in the future. Definitely after Nikola World, once people actually see a vehicle, there will still be some people who are like, "Oh yeah, they actually have a vehicle." But for a long-term vision, I think you know Tesla is definitely better than Nikola, which is weird because Nikola Tesla is the person who both of these companies are named after. But I definitely think you know definitely a speculative one to keep your eyes out on. But and then Nikola World for this one. So you're basically going to have Tesla Battery Day, which is September 15th. September 15th is also going to be the day that Microsoft, let's look at Microsoft. Microsoft is also supposed to be closing their deal um, with Netflix. I mean, not Netflix, with TikTok. So if you've been watching in the news, Microsoft's definitely trying to get or in talks of getting TikTok. And ironically, the date, September 15th, is the day that they said their deal's going to be done. So September 15th is, a pretty important day for the stock market in general, because if Tesla gets put into the S&P 500, and then you have Microsoft buying TikTok. That will essentially put them in the same region as Facebook for social media. So, a lot of different moves going on in the market, a lot of different things to look forward to. Just basically going to make September a very interesting month. Definitely a lot of plays. But let me, before I end the stream, go over all the stocks that we're looking at. So for the watch list for this week so far, we got ticker sign mRNA for Moderna. We got CVS. We got W for Wayfair. We got Fiverr, which ticker sign FVRR. We got Etsy, which ticker sign ETSY. We got Square, which is ticker sign SQ. And these all had their earnings today. So if you go back, rewind the stream, you can see when I went over all the earnings. Um, and then for tomorrow, we got ticker sign WIX for Wix.com. We got FLIR for Fleer Systems. We got Uber for basically Uber and Uber Eats. We got TMUS for T-Mobile US. And those are the ones that I'm looking at for tomorrow. These other two I added on here just to explain the whole EV world. But the Wix, FLIR, Uber, and TMUS are all going to be ones that I'm looking for tomorrow. So if we look, Wix is already pretty positive, and Uber's pretty positive. Um, T-Mobile looks like it tried to go positive towards the end of the day, and FOIR tried to go positive towards the end of the day. I'm looking forward to those earnings, and definitely we'll be back tomorrow to go over them. So if you like this stream and you like the content that I'm giving, make sure you get a thumbs up. Also, I got a course talking about dividends where you can grow a dividend portfolio. Try not to try to give courses out for free. I don't like, going on those, financial channels. People are like, oh, I can teach you how to grow your portfolio and make a passive income. But it's only, $30.99 or it's like $499. Um, you know, I try to give information out for free. If you got any questions, um, you know, just drop them down below. If you want to donate, I have a Cash App on there where you can donate money. It'll be accepted gladly, but this isn't for money, it's just for information's sake, just to help people out there. Make sure everybody has their finances in check where you can grow your money. Um, you know, there are tools out there where people can do it. Just trying to point people in the right direction. There are also deals out there to be made in the market. So make sure you sign up with that Webull account. You sign up with that Robinhood account so you can make these plays as well. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for joining the stream. Uh, and make sure you check out the community tab where I have the plays for the whole week for earnings week this week. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.